Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you for being here. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Starting with our top story of the day, the West Bloomfield High School class of 2025 officially graduated yesterday. And it was a day filled with excitement and emotions as our young adults celebrated a significant milestone. Civic Center TV was, of course, there to cover the entire event, and we captured now former students Grace Akeem and Elena Gwynn talking about the accomplishments of the class of 2025.
This year, our class was awarded over $14 million in scholarships, a true reflection of the hard work and determination we've shown. In addition, 138 seniors took part in over 300 AP exams, preparing themselves for the future academic challenges ahead.
Our theater program had a standout year, earning recognition at the Michigan International Thespian Society Festival. Our senior thespians received 3 excellent awards and 8 superior awards across multiple categories. Our athletes were just as impressive. 108 senior scholar athletes will be graduating with a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or better. An outstanding 34 of them will graduate with a cumulative GPA of 4.0 or better, and 27 student athletes signed their national letters of intent to continue playing intercollegiate sports next year.
Wow, so many accomplishments, I would have run out of breath. But as the class reflected on their high school journey, class president Carly Lyons talked about growing up in high school to become the graduating seniors that they are now.
I'm talking about the quiet moments and small changes, the kind you don't even notice until you stop and look back. We came in as freshmen worried about getting lost in the hallways, which, by the way, are literally a series of big squares, wondering where to sit at lunch and whether asking a question in class would make us seem stupid or like we were trying too hard. And now, somehow, we're here, walking across this stage, both confident and capable. That growth did not happen all at once, like the flip of a light switch. It was subtle. It was the way we learned to laugh off a bad grade, the way we chose to sleep at night instead of during class, and the way we learned to express ourselves, even ideas that felt so complex. We learned that sometimes the hardest part of growing is outgrowing the version of ourselves we thought we had to be.
We also got a speech from a familiar face on the Splash Live, Ava Lord, formerly of the West Bloomfield High School girls varsity basketball team. She gave a touching word on embracing failure in the journey ahead.
Perseverance is more than just a word. It is a way of life. It's about embracing challenges, enduring setbacks, and remaining committed to our goals, even when our path is filled with difficulties and obstacles. If you have not yet noticed, life is not a straight line. It's an unpredictable, winding path full of twists and turns. Failures and rejection and disappointment are sure to come, but it's up to us and how we fight through it all. Although remember, these little moments do not define who we are as a person. It's how we choose to respond to the difficulties and the failures. During my time as a West Bloomfield High School student, I chose to do things that I knew would challenge me and make me grow to become a better person. I knew the path would have challenges, but I still was not prepared for how tough it would be. I learned that every setback was an opportunity to learn and to grow and to push forward to get one step closer to success, as well as learning that embracing failure is essential to progress. I want us to remember that as we move forward on our own paths, remember that perseverance is not just about relentless determination. It is about resilience. It's about recognizing that stumbling is a part of our journeys, and asking for help or seeking guidance when we feel lost is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Watching this entire commencement, watching the students give their speech, and also being a part of some of the students after going up there and shooting some news packages and stories and meeting some of them. I almost had something in my eye watching those speeches, I will be honest with you. But you can watch the entire commencement of the West Bloomfield High School graduating class of 2025. We will be rebroadcasting that entire commencement on Civic Center TV as well as 89.3 Lakes FM. That'll be tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching on Civic Center TV now, get your smartphone out, scan that QR code. It'll give you a link directly to that website as well. And of course, you can go directly to our website, civiccentertv.com. And I personally want to give a congratulations again to the class of 2025. Last night, a powerful and motivating event took place at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library to benefit business women throughout the community and emphasize the power of communication. Our very own Jake Schaff has a story.
When it comes to business, networking is one of the most important things you can do to be successful. And the great people at Oakland Thrive recently provided a great opportunity for the women of the community to do exactly that. With the recent Women Who Thrive business event taking place right here at the Greater West Bloomfield Township Public Library. A gathering place for female business owners to learn from some successful women in business on how to be successful and how to make those ever important business connections last, especially the ones that have been formed this evening.
Well, I'm with Great Lakes Women's Business Council, and we certify women-owned businesses in Michigan and Indiana. So we are a sponsor of this event, and we've done it the last couple years, and it's been great. We get a great panel of women up to talk about how they've thrived in their business, and it's an amazing event to network with other women in the community.
Well, anything that promotes women in business and helps enhance networking is a great thing in my book. I think we all grow together and learn together, so it's just a really great opportunity to get to know folks, get to understand, share what I know, and learn from others.
What would you say are some of the biggest takeaways that everybody could gain from tonight?
I think the number one thing is really perfecting your pitch or your first 30 seconds with someone, because you don't want to feel like you're pitching your business. You want to build a connection. It's all about relationships. So if someone can really take that opportunity to perfect that and get comfortable talking to people they don't know. The second one would probably be just understanding all of the diversity of people that are here, what types of businesses we have, learning a little bit more about what's available. And then the third, WeBank and Oakland Thrive always do a really nice job of providing resources for women business owners or for business owners in general. So providing those opportunities, learning what resources are available. I've been in business for 9 years this year, but there are quite a few new businesses. So getting some new resources would be great.
I think it's very important that we find time to connect in person and make those genuine connections with other people, other women, other business owners and professional people. So I think it's super important that we have these types of events. It's kind of like the gym, like you don't always want to go, but then when you go, you're like super glad that you did. So if you kind of hesitate on the networking in person, you're an introvert or shy, it's still worthwhile to just, push yourself to go, because you just might make one really, really great connection. All it takes is one really great connection.
How great is it to see something like this event make its way to Greater West Bloomfield to help all of these women here tonight?
It's huge. First of all, there's not any other type of a organization like Oakland Thrive, like the other resources that we have that are here as well, and we're all in this all together, and through all of our services that we offer to our community, we make them better, we make them thrive, we make them successful.
I think it's extremely important, especially in today's day and age, to reach out and know that you have a community behind you. I think community is very important, and when you can find it in smaller communities around you, it will really help you grow in whatever you are doing, and finding just like-minded people around you is really important.
Networking is never something you should take for granted. It comes into play in so many facets when it comes to business, and hopefully everyone that's come to this event tonight is taking away some very important information and some very important connections that will pave the way for their future. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Thank you, Jake. Another great event providing great resources and information for local entrepreneurs here in West Bloomfield. We will continue to keep you up to date on all the latest events and activities that are here for your benefit. Something going on this weekend. Yard sale season is in full effect this weekend. Spirit of Grace Church is hosting a community yard sale on May 31st. Rain or shine. It'll be at 2399 Figure Avenue, West Bloomfield, in the Circle Drive off Figure Avenue, by the way. The event runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with vendor setup starting at 9 a.m. Community members are invited to participate by renting tables for $15 each, and tables are limited and available while supplies last, so please keep that in mind as well. Bring in your own table. You can also get a reduced cost, only $10 if you bring your own. They are asking for gently used items, but not clothing. Please do not bring clothing. You can also donate to the church to sell, with those proceeds supporting the community outreach as well for Spirit of Grace. So for more, go to spiritofgrace.church or go to their Facebook, Spirit O' Grace. Greater West Bloomfield residents are invited to share their questions and concerns at the upcoming Breakfast with the Board event. Join township officials on Saturday, May 31st, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the West Bloomfield Town Hall. Come hungry and ready to connect. Leaders like Jonathan Warshay, Debbie Binder, and Mike Patton will be on hand to hear directly from the community and discuss what matters most to you. So keep all that in mind and on your calendar as well. Have more things to discuss that affects our Greater West Bloomfield area. Very important to stay right here. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Sylvan Lake. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
So much is happening in your community. Join Jake, Tyler, and Kevin for local events and developments on The Splash Live, weekdays at 10 a.m. on CivicCenterTV.com, YouTube, and Facebook.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. While the 2024-2025 school year comes to an end, we see a lot of our students take that leap into their collegiate stage and adulthood, but there are some staff members who are also moving on into retirement. Karen Brody, Counseling Department Chairperson for West Bloomfield High School, will be closing a chapter of her book, retiring after serving years for the school district. And she joins us live on the Splash right now to reflect. Thank you so much for being here, Karen.
Thank you, Kevin.
So I have a few notes here just looking, if I'm not mistaken, 51 years of service. First and foremost, thank you. A truly remarkable tenure. Now, if you look back, can you just talk about what inspired you to enter the field of school counseling in the first place?
Well, I come from a long line of educators in my family. My mother herself was an educator for, I think, 39 years. Of course, in my head, I beat her with 51. But she was a great inspiration. And halfway through her career, she became a counselor. And so when I went into teaching, because I originally started as being a math teacher at West Bloomfield High School, and I went right into counseling and kind of followed her footsteps. And I know everybody says, why have you stayed for so long? I love the people I work with. I love the students I work with. And so I'm going to be a little sad to leave it all because I really do enjoy what I do.
After 51 years, I imagine you've gotten so used to it. And I'm glad that you spoke on it, too, because that was going to be my next question, your motivation. You usually see so many people move from a job after so long, especially nowadays. No one lasts 51 years at a job nowadays. So for you to do that, like I said, like you said, it just speaks to your motivation to wanting to be there. Now, that also speaks to different times, different decades you've been there. Can you just speak to the different needs of students and how it has evolved over the decades?
Well, what I think is really interesting is that I don't think teenagers, and again, my entire career has been at the high school level.
Right.
I like to say that I kind of crawled out of my crib and came right in here to start because this was my first job, and it is my last job in the sense that I've been here the entire time. But I want to say that teenagers are still pretty much exactly the same. And by that, I mean, they're growing, they're learning, they have concerns, they have fears, they have everything that, we all of us remember. Right. And so in that sense, it has been the same job. Now, the world around us has changed drastically. So I do see some different points of emphasis, but how kids react to things like that, how students learn to adapt and become, our big word right now is be resilient, be able to take what life gives you and get through it and survive. They're getting stronger at it, and then the world throws them another curveball. So we adapt and we adjust. And that's kind of the fun of the job, is to look at those curveballs coming in and see how you're going to help.
Right. That's a very, very interesting perspective that you said. The students are pretty much the same as what we remember when we was in high school, but the world around them kind of changed and you all had to adapt. I like that. Just kind of thinking about something with that being said, did you feel like you had to adapt maybe your counseling style to adapt to those outside circumstances as well? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Absolutely. When I first came in as a school counselor, and there's a big difference in the world about what a school counselor does and what's, let's say, a outside counselor / therapist would do. Mm-hmm. Where all of us are supposed to help people, but school counselors are very much more program oriented, and we want to instruct because we're in a school. We're teachers at heart also. And I think the big difference I thought is when I came in, it was very much about academics and adjusting to people, adjusting to teachers, peers, parents sometimes. And that still is there. Today's students still have that. But now there's so much more stress and anxiety that I think all the rest of us had it when we were teenagers. Okay. But it's in the front of the line right now. So one of the techniques that has changed a lot is counselors now deal a lot more with helping students deal with their stress, how to, get through things and help them adjust. That's a big change from when I started.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. Yeah. But I love how you just keep going back to remind us that the kids are pretty much still the kids that we were when we were in high school. We're all going through the same thing. It's just other factors that go into it. And, it's putting more or different emotions to the forefront, as you said as well.
I do have one thing that I think is a big change. And I tell my students this all the time. Anytime I'm doing any kind of a presentation, I have a little slide that I use. But today's students, probably the one major difference I see is they are not prepared, maybe they're not willing to read information that comes to them. They're very happy to listen. I mean, this is a perfect example, right? If we can blog, if we can have a presentation, if it's, pardon the pun here, splashy and things like that, they're very willing. But sometimes information comes in reading form, whether it's an email,
right.
Something like that. And kids, I often have kids say, "Did you get that message I sent you?" And they go, "Oh, I don't read my emails." And I go, oh. And so that's probably the one skill that I think today's society needs to work on.
Okay, wow. I am shocked but not surprised to some level. But I get it. But so much more to talk about. I appreciate you for adding that. But with me right here live on the Splash, by the way, Counseling Department Chairperson for West Bloomfield High School, retiring Karen Brody, talking about her tenure at West Bloomfield High School as a counselor, as a math teacher, and just the experience that she's had overall. So, since we talked about just the overall change and adapting of the students and the moods and the outside factors, what are some of the significant changes that you've witnessed at the high school just in general, either at the school itself or in the students who walk the halls?
Right. And again, the size, well, I have seen just about every set of construction that's gone through this building. When I got here, of course, there was no second story. There was no... the courtyard was actually a wide open area. The building has gone through immense changes. I like to tease people and say that I'm a lot older than most of the carpeting and paint on the walls because I've been here that long. So that's been big, and I think it's been improvement, okay, with so many different things and bond issues that have, allowed us to expand our athletics, our performing arts. I'm a big performing arts person. Those are great things. Again, the only other thing I can think about the kids, like I said, is that they are, again, no surprise, very attached to their electronics. And I can walk down the halls now and see faces in a cell phone. And, that, again, was not around when I first started working here. So.
And you know what else I would imagine that you probably witnessed too? You probably witnessed styles and fashions come and go as well. I see that going too. Yeah, so I know that has to be interesting as well.
We were joking because I've been cleaning out my office, and I found a set of, I think we still call them in and out boxes that I had used in my first classroom here. And the whole color scheme was sort of the orange avocado yellow, which was very much in fashion when I started teaching here. And now, and one of the students walked by and said, "Oh, what a cool retro set." I said, "Retro? That was my original." So you're right, things come and go. Yes.
Why they have to put retro out there just make you feel like that, like retro?
I mean, I thought, yep, I'm right back in style.
No, that's good. No, but like I said, I've seen that too. So I imagine being in the school, in the heart of it with the teenagers, that you've seen it firsthand as well. So one thing that I got in a note from our producers. You've been a part of the honors convocation as well, the honors commencement, I should say, for quite some time. So being a school counselor and being involved with that as well, you've helped the students actually, go through the pressures of academics, help them with their college admissions and things like that. Can you just talk about your approach to helping these students balance current academics with college admissions and mental health and all of that goes into it?
Well, and again, as we keep saying, the world changes and it evolves. And all of us, I mean, certainly as adults, but teenagers, they get things thrown at them, just absolutely thrown at them. Right. And as adults, we kind of say, well, deal with that, but they don't always have the tools. And so I like to say that it's really not so much what we're going to have them do. or what we're going to ask them to do or even tell them to do. But as a counselor, what we want to do is teach them how to make the decisions. It's not, they're going to make their decisions because they're people. Right. But if we can teach them how to judge, good from bad, right from wrong, the best versus not the best, those kinds of things, that's the skill I think we want to pass on to them. How do you take all that the world's throwing at you and make your best decisions for yourself, for your family?
Well said. Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. What has the West Bloomfield community meant to you personally and professionally over the decades?
Well, and I've been joking about this a lot too. If we eliminate sleep time for a minute, pretend that none of us sleep, I have spent more time in this building, 4925 Orchard Lake Road, than any house that I've ever lived in anywhere. Okay, because this has been my home for 51 years. And I know I haven't been here in the summer all the time. So, but like I said, throw out the sleep time and I could count up the hours I've spent in this building and it would be my home. So I really look at it like that, like I'm leaving my home. As far as being proud of things and that, and so many different programs that I've worked on and different styles of things you mentioned, the Honors Assembly, that was one of my very first jobs as a counselor. So I have a lot of pride in that. Again, I've worked a lot with our performing arts program from the very beginning. But I think my biggest point of pride is my own 3 kids went here to West Bloomfield. They are Lakers, and watching them walk across the stage and graduate was probably my best teary moment.
There you go.
3 different times.
Yeah, I would imagine so too. I'd be the exact same way as well. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, retiring counseling department chairperson for West Bloomfield High School, Karen Brody, just talking about her tenure, her experience, and reflecting on life in the West Bloomfield High School over the decades. Don't want to hold you up too much longer. Just want to ask you, I don't know if this is too personal, how are you feeling about this next chapter in your life, retirement? Any plans?
Well, I'm not the kind of person to go and sit at home. That's not happening. So I'm going to have to find something else to do with my time. I don't know if it's employment or volunteering or I just, will it be working with kids? I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of reaching out to see, but I suspect I will be coming back to football games and plays and basketball games, et cetera, because it's part of my blood. I have the Laker blood in me, and I will have to come and see how everybody's doing.
Of course. We want to see your face around still. And finally, what legacy do you hope to leave behind West Bloomfield High School for the students and the colleagues that you work with?
Well, that's a tall order. But I guess I would say, I want to go back to what I said. The counselors, teachers, all of us are here to help students, help families, but help the actual students that walk our halls. And I think the message I want to give to them is something that I've tried to live by. And is if you see something that needs to be done, probably something, let's say positive that needs to be done, something you need to say to someone, help someone, that you have to remember to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Because there's an old song, one of my favorites from way back, but it's like, we may never pass this way again. And if you don't go out and do those things now, you may not get the chance later. So that's probably a philosophy I would like to leave.
Ooh, dropping bombs before she leaves. I love it. Thank you so much for the knowledge, the experience, the wisdom, and we appreciate you and thank you for your service. Congratulations again. Retiring counseling department chairperson for West Bloomfield High School, Karen Brody. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Love to see that. Congratulations to another person supporting our youth throughout the decades and the years. We want to say congratulations again to Miss Karen Brody for everything she's done. Misty Markham's SUP Yoga and Flat Water 1 combined training will be June 27th and 29th, and it offers a comprehensive guide on technique, safety, group communication, and teaching paddling effectively. We actually spoke with Misty Markham to tell us a little bit more about the certification classes. Misty Markham. How you doing, Misty?
Good. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Yeah, you like that energy in that intro. I see that right there. So I see that we have this this certification class. I want to talk about that, but before we do, let's add some context, right? So many beautiful lakes right here in our Greater West Bloomfield area. I want you to tell us what makes our community a special place for people to learn and just practice paddleboarding safety.
Absolutely, because there are so many lakes and a ton of places to go and enjoy them, including our even bigger Great Lakes. And, what's more important than knowing what to do in an emergency situation, or just to be able to teach like your other friends and that kind of thing. The training is pretty intense, I will say, even if you decide to do just the flat water one portion of it. And, there's anything can happen at any moment, right? And we're just trying to, even if you weren't interested in getting a full certification certificate, let's say, that weekend I am providing at least the fundamentals for people to join, and that may mean that they already have some paddle experience being out on our waters, but want to take it a little bit further and making sure that they're doing it safely and wisely.
Oh, yeah. Anytime we're around water, we want safety first and foremost, and then the fun can come after that. So, okay, so that sounds good. So let's get into your inspiration, right? What inspired you to become a professional stand-up paddle association certified instructor?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And, I've always loved the water. I've been a water kid my whole life. But, with safety, with all the fun, just like you said, not to take all the fun out of it, there's still, a water safety portion of it. And the manual is pretty thick. It's an intense book. So not only are you learning to perfect your paddle or to do it correctly and then to teach others as well, back to the water safety portion, just rescue techniques, learning hands-on, getting real-time feedback, and being able to practice on one another. It's pretty vital, and it's what a great way to do it in the summer when it starts to get pretty hot. Last year was pretty warm, and we were happily to get in the water and start practicing those techniques on each other.
There you go. Okay. So that kind of leads me into my next inquiry. Why did you decide to want to teach others how to be instructors like yourself?
Yeah, well, it's funny because we do so much stuff online now. And even back when I was doing my own research as well, there were some YouTube videos starting to come out so that you could get an idea. I searched a lot of times for someone or anybody to answer a lot of questions about even just gear. Do I have the right board? Am I setting this up right? Maybe my paddle even, that kind of thing. And you can only learn so much online. And when I did my research and I found where I wanted to go, I had to go all the way to San Diego with a board, a GoPro, and a notebook. And, I came home with a ton of information, some great contacts of people who wanted to be in the sport just as much as I did. And it's just having respect for the sport and just learning, more intensely.
There it is. So bringing more people into, giving away the secret sauce, essentially, but we're doing it for a great cause. I love that. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, owner of Luna Moon SUP, stand-up paddleboarding, Misty Markham, talking about her new certification classes for you to be a professional stand-up paddle association certified trainer right here in our Greater West Bloomfield waters course. So let's talk about the training, of course. So you talked about the seriousness of the safety. You talked about how thick the book is. That seems very, very serious, but it is necessary. So how do you balance the training, the fun part of the training, paddleboarding, with the water safety and emergency preparedness?
Absolutely. Like I was saying about having that serious part of it, but taking it on the water and just practicing on each other and having fun with it. I've watched other videos as well where they're doing the same training. There's a flip technique. So you get in the water and you flip the board and you're trying to get maybe the victim back on. Maybe they're conscious or unconscious. And it does become a little fun while you're still practicing those serious techniques. You may discover some things, like, oh, wow, my watch got in the way while I was trying to do the flip rescue because you're reaching for each other's wrist, right? The other thing too is just even setting up your gear and the paddle, like I said, holding it and then the proper technique, and being 101 in front of people. You still have fun with that no matter what. You bring up a scenario like, okay, what if, right? And you look out at the water and you try to paint a little picture of maybe a little wind coming from this direction. Now we watched over there and the wind changed. So what are we going to do? And how do we prepare for those types of scenarios on the water?
Okay, yeah. It's being alert to your environment, like you say. If everything is good and steady and we're checking everything out and it works, then go ahead and have your fun. But essentially, like you said, just be aware of your environment and all the different situations that could factor into water safety and emergency preparedness. So great for the context right there. I want you to explain this. If I'm not mistaken, there's 2 different certifications or classes that you're doing. You're doing the Flatwater 1 and then the yoga, SUP yoga. Can you talk about this? Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Flatwater 1 technically is going to be all of those things I just mentioned about learning the gear, all the way down to holding your paddle, proper technique, how to teach others, and then the water safety part and practicing on each other. Once we kind of have all that down and you want to take it a little bit further, the sub yoga portion is like part 2, essentially. You still have to have some requirements in there as well, like your 200-hour training on land and just being able to lead each other with poses, because now we're adding the water element. And again, back to our fun part where we teach someone these poses and technique on a paddleboard that's wobbly in the water. And so yeah, it is a part 2, like I said.
Oh my goodness. When I saw that, I said, am I reading this right? We're talking about yoga on a paddleboard in the middle of the lake. Can you just talk about that experience in general for people that may have done it, like doing it for the first time? What is that like? Yoga on a paddleboard on a lake.
It is so much fun. I mean, really, you've just taken away the 4 walls of being like in a studio. The boards I have they are pretty, they're inflatables. They sit pretty high off the water, probably about 3.5 inches off the water. So you're not sitting right in it. But it is a soft space for your knees and hands, and in my scenario, I have a pod, so they all connect around this pod, and we become this floating studio. And it's nice because when what is a little more challenging on the water, it seems easy on land, and people applaud each other and say that was great, and then you'll have somebody else who wants to take it a little bit further and go into headstands. And it's all just situational. It's open for any age, any type, as long as you just have an open mind about it.
Ooh, wait. Now, if somebody's doing a headstand on a paddleboard in water, you are way too advanced for me, and I love to see it, to be honest with you. With me right here live on the Splash, by the way, owner of Luna Moon, stand-up paddleboarding. We have Misty Markham talking about her new certification classes for flat water training and stand-up paddle yoga training as well. Very, very interesting courses and activities in general. Can we just talk about, I guess, the why someone should sign up for this? What ways do you see this training benefiting the Greater West Bloomfield community, either from a wellness or a small business perspective?
Yes. Now, the certification itself, I mean, that's going to be a more intense type of person maybe that would want to know all the details, every single bit of it. And then, of course, yoga is going a little bit further. You might want to do maybe Flatwater 1 first before you did yoga. And you may just want to stick with Flatwater 1, and that's just as fine. But this year, I am offering on Saturday just a portion for people who want to be more like in the fundamentals. So maybe it's not a full certification, that's a lot of commitment and time, I understand, and you may want to ease into that. So this is like a little bit of a level where you're getting a little bit of a taste. And like I said, not to receive a paper certification or anything like that, but to show up and hey, be with the trainees and see what it's like, and still walk away with a piece of knowledge on having a more of a proper paddle technique, water safety, obviously another issue, and then just maybe to teach like some of the, because we live around so many lakes, teach their neighbors or friends or their family that wanted to try it. But are still having a lot of trouble and they're not really sure why. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people can just stand on it backwards and they didn't realize they're on it backwards.
Right? That would be me right there. I don't even know which way it is. That's interesting. Okay, I don't want to hold you up too much more, Misty. I appreciate your time. Lastly, any advice for someone watching or listening who may be interested in the SUP instructing, but maybe not even 100% sure? What would you tell them?
I would say reach out to me. I mean, I have a lot of experience, a lot of resources, and it just, simple call, visit my website, lunamoonsupyoga.com, and we can talk about certain things. Everybody is at different levels and have different questions and needs, so I just try to be flexible.
Yeah, be flexible and be open-minded as well. And we appreciate you. Can't wait for the weather to officially break so we can get out there on that water. Once again, owner of Luna Moon, stand-up paddleboarding, Misty Markham, thank you again.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Misty. You can find out more about the stand-up paddleboarding training and classes on her website at lunamoonsupyoga.com or go to Facebook, Luna Moon Sup. That's Luna Moon SUP on Facebook. Tour de Kigo is a free, slow-paced bike ride for all ages and skill levels. Great way to get outdoors, enjoy this summer/spring sun and weather, and just meet some people in our community. And it's a great way to get outside and enjoy with all skill levels and ages as well. Here to give us more on this event is the organizer for Tour de Kigo, Katie Sexton. How you doing, Katie?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good myself. A little intrigued about what we have going on here. So can we just start off with the basic details of the event, the who, what, where, when, why, just to get over things?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tour de Kigo is a community bike ride that has been planned it's been planned by Kigo Harbor Parks and Recreation. And it's a way to get people outside, engaged with their neighbors, and learn how to ride safely in the road as a group. It's targeted for all community members, all ages, and all skill levels. It'll be about a 5-mile ride through residential streets in Kigo Harbor and Sylvan Lake, and also on our Clinton River Trail and West Bloomfield Trail system.
Okay, 5 miles. Okay, 5 miles. You kind of got me there. All right, so let's just talk about it. We could do bike rides anywhere, any type of community, but can you just explain what makes Tour de Kigo, this bike ride, different from other community bike rides?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a bike enthusiast myself, and I think it's really important to have an idea about bike safety and road riding and how to support each other on the ride. And so I really wanted to open up this free community bike ride to engage neighbors and to discuss, why it's important to wear a helmet, why it's important to communicate to each other when we're riding. If you're coming up to a stop sign, you're telling everybody we're stopping. If you're rolling through a trail crossing, you say rolling, you regroup together. And I really just think it's a very fun way to get the community outside, get some exercise. I think we all typically tend to ride bikes a lot when we're young, but it's something that you can do at every age. And I really hope it's a way to get all members of the community outside and, engaged in some exercise and fresh air and camaraderie.
There you go. There you go. I think you said it right there, especially knowing, I used to be a bike fiend when I was younger. You couldn't catch me without my bike. I'm riding my bike. I'm just throwing it in the yard. I'm going to play, get something to drink from my mom's. I'm back on that bike. I'm out in the streets again. And, we don't do that as much as we are older and things like that. But it's great exercise as well. And with that being said, if I get on the bike again, I'm going to be honest with you, more than likely, Katie, I'm going to be one of those speed demons. I'm going for first place even though it's not a race. But with that being said, this event is free. It's open to all ages and skill levels. So for people like me that like to go fast or maybe people who like to go slow, how are you ensuring that it's welcoming and safe for everyone involved?
So we are going to have a ride leader, so somebody that stays in the front of the ride. Nobody's supposed to ride in front of them. Okay. We're going to have a ride sweeper, meaning somebody that's in the back and making sure everybody is together. And, if we do get spread apart, we're going to have different spots along the route where we regroup. So we'll stop, let everybody catch up because, yeah, we might have some speed demons in the front and some of our slower riders in the back. So we make sure we stop, regroup, make sure everybody's okay. We're going to have a mechanic on the ride to support any mechanical issues that come up. We're going to be stopping and having a water break at Water Pure Water, so we'll be able to stay hydrated. And then at the end of the ride, we're going to have some granola bars, clementines, other snacks to make sure everybody is fueled up, hydrated, and, having a good time.
I am a sucker for refreshments and snacks, so even though I know the bike ride is good, I would do it for the snacks. I'm going to be honest with you. But whatever motivates you to get out there and enjoy time with the community. And once again, with me right here, live on the Splash, talking a little bit more about the Tour de Kigo bike tour that's coming up. We have the organizer, Katie Sexton, just talking about this very, very exciting event happening very soon, as a matter of fact. So can we just talk about the logistics of the route and why it was chosen, right? Rose Sorter Park is the starting and ending point. Can you just talk about why the route specifically was chosen?
Yes, so we have a program called Kigo Connect, and it's a bunch of different events that we do within our city parks, and it's a program that aims to connect our local community to our local parks. And Rose Sorter Park is right behind City Hall. There's a nice gazebo with a picnic table. There's a pond. People know where it is. So it's a really good meeting location. And then from there, you can ride through Kigo and Sylvan. You can hop on the trail, and we go up the trail, and then we end up crossing Cass Lake Road, or crossing Orchard Lake Road and going down Cass Lake Road and looping back to the park. So it's a really nice, it's almost 5 miles. It's going to be a chill pace. It's going to be a mix of road and trail riding. And so it's just a really great way to connect people to our parks and our local trails. And, Kigo is a small city, and so is Sylvan, and it's still walkable and rideable. So getting people engaged in that activity, instead of just driving their car everywhere, seeing that they can, or letting them see that they have the ability to just, hop on their bike, especially in the summer and nice days, and go to a cafe or a restaurant or something like that.
No, that's a solid point. Save on that gas. Save on that gas. You sold me right then and there. Like, I would definitely be on my bike for that alone. Now, with this being, if I'm not mistaken, this is inaugural. This is the first event that you all are doing with this, correct? Tour de Kigo?
This is our first community bike ride that we have planned, yes.
Okay, so with that being said, if you had it your way, if this was to be an annual event, how would you see this, or how would you like to see this evolve in the future?
So I would love for this to be, an annual Tour de Kigo. Perhaps it could evolve into creating a local bike club. And so people that can meet up regularly for rides, people that can help support each other, people that can learn about, riding safely on the road, always wearing a helmet, paying attention to your surroundings, and also trail etiquette. When you're on the trail, there's other bikers, there's walkers, there's dogs. Learning about the etiquette of being respectful of other trail users and things like that. It's just all part of the ride and all part of the community. And I really think that it could be something that builds a nice local bike community here in Kigo.
Yeah, and we said it. I wanted you to put it out there into the universe. Anybody watching or listening who are bike advocates in the community and want to put this together, this will be a great time to come together and get with local bike enthusiasts as well. Just a few things to kind of go through before I let you go, Katie. Essentially, what do you want people to take away from this experience? Not the biking part, but really just focusing on Kigo Harbor as a community. What do you want them to take away?
Well, Kigo is a really, close-knit community. We're small. We like to do our, have our local events and support our community. We have other events in our parks like block parties, yoga in the park, story time in the park. So we really are about using our natural areas and green space. And so I just want people to be able to realize that they have these really nice resources that are free and open to them at any time of the day. I want them to realize that 5 miles may seem like a lot, but we'll get out there. It'll take maybe an hour or so with stops. And then you've got some fresh air, some exercise. You've been able to ride around your town and see the sights. So I really hope people take away that, they spend more time on their bike. I think that would be great for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good time, too. We're expecting some really good weather. So I just want it to be a nice time where we all get out as well. Hey, and before we go, just one last opportunity to sell this event, the what, where, when, and why people should join again.
Okay. Yeah, so Tour de Kigo is on Sunday, June 22nd. It starts at noon. We're going to meet in Rose Sorter Park. We'll have a brief safety talk, make sure everybody is geared up and has their helmets and everything they need for the ride. We'll do the ride. It's going to be about 5 miles. We'll end the ride and have some refreshments. And the reason you should come out is it's going to be a great time. It's going to be good exercise and a really great way to meet your neighbors and ride safely as a group.
There it is. There it is. Well said. And thank you again for organizing this event, putting this type of thing together, and also good luck. We're hoping we'll see a lot of people out there. Once again, with me right here live on the Splash, the organizer of Tour de Kigo, I should say, Katie Sexton. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Well, great thing to look forward to right here in our own community, the Kigo Harbor Tour de Kigo, June 22nd, Rose Sorter Park. Make sure you get your bikes and your helmets. Safety first when it comes to that, and we'll continuously keep you updated with that event and other events going on in our area. Relief Michigan's 16th biennial Big Tree Hunt runs now through August 22nd of this year, inviting participants of all ages to locate and measure Michigan's largest trees. We actually spoke with Lindsay Lights, Project Forester for Relief Michigan, to tell us a little bit more about the biggest trees in Michigan and in West Bloomfield. How you doing, Lindsay?
I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing just good. I'm doing just great. Now, we spoke last year about this as well, so I want to kind of briefly talk about that and then just come up to date now. So can you just tell us, how has the Greater West Bloomfield community, our local community, contributed to the Michigan Big Tree Hunt?
Over the years of the contest, it started in 1994, there have been nominations that come from the West Bloomfield and the area around there. In the whole county, Oakland County's always had great participation. One really interesting thing I found looking through the data is that there's people who live in West Bloomfield, but they travel and they go and enter a tree. One I saw was all the way in Ottawa County.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if there's any connection, but has that had any impact on the local conservation efforts?
I think it directly gets people to look outside and care about them. So this project is really that first piece. It's an awareness piece. It's, oh, wow, I never noticed this giant tree on the block, but wow, that's awesome. And I want to take care of my tree so it can get that big.
Yes. Nice. I want to continue to dig a little bit more into this contest and a little bit more as well while we do have you on the program. But besides that, what initiatives has Relief Michigan undertaken to educate some residents of not only just Greater West Bloomfield, but of Michigan about the importance of tree conservation through the Big Tree Hunt?
I'm so happy you asked that. Relief Michigan does a couple different avenues other than the Big Tree Hunt.
Okay.
We do community tree plantings and community presentations. So we planted at Johnson Nature Center last year, and in there we put a sugar bush. So we planted 25 sugar maple trees that will grow up, and eventually they will produce sugar that will produce the sap that makes maple syrup. And that'll be a way to engage students and engage people who want to care about the trees and get some hands-on activities about that. We also do presentations. So in the past, we've done a planting and maintenance presentation. That one was in 2011. Our organization has been around since 1988, doing this across the state. We also came and talked about pruning in 2023. So we do these presentations. They're normally for homeowners directly. They're about a 7 p.m. time at the local library. And anybody who's interested in trees can come and get easy information. They can go back and take care of their trees.
Nice. Okay. Look at that. So you are doing a lot to educate people, not just make this a contest, but let people know the purpose behind it and, the tree conservation and things of that nature. So literally things of that nature. I'm in my own head sometimes. But okay, good to know that. Now, very briefly, are there any groups from West Bloomfield or Greater West Bloomfield or even schools that have come together to participate in the Big Tree Hunt by any chance?
The Wild Ones of Oakland County, they are a group who they like to plant a lot of native. They like to get seeds, good seed source, and we've done presentations with them. And we really want to talk to the schools now even more. We want to get the kids out there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Please get them out there. Get them out of school, away from the tablets, the devices. I mean, those are cool every now and then, but outside, I'm always with that as well. With me right here live on the Splash, by the way, from Relief, Michigan, we have Project Forester, Lindsay Lights, just talking about the overall big tree hunt and some of the difference that Greater West Bloomfield residents have made in this contest as well. Now, just continuing on, any notable record-breaking trees that's been discovered in West Bloomfield maybe, or even an area close to us?
Well, I know there's a lot of really special trees there, and that's why it's so important to get this message out to you guys. But none off the top of my head. There are state champions in Oakland County, but we're still looking for a huge one at one of those forests that hasn't been touched for a while, somewhere people haven't been able to go in and cut down, somewhere that's been preserved, maybe somewhere like Bloomer Park. We're still looking for the huge one.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see it too. I can't wait to see that too and to see exactly where it is so we can just make it like a big tourist spot as well. Now, in what ways does participating in this big tree hunt benefit some local communities even beyond the environmental awareness aspect?
That's a great question. Just getting outside and into nature, just having our feet on the ground and looking up at trees, that is instantly going to make people feel better. And then that impact multiplies when they enter a tree to the contest. We can share about it as the big tree of the week and just excite people and inspire them to get outside. It's exercise. It's good for your mental health. You can get some really good fresh air, get some nice deep breaths, which in turn will give you some great sleep.
Yeah.
So we know about those traditional benefits of trees, but hopefully that's a little bit of the extra stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, get outside and enjoy, especially now that the summer's here. If looking out the window and seeing the sun bright and outside warm doesn't get you outside, I don't know what does. But this is another great reason to do so as well. Now, on the planning and producing side of this entire contest, it's not just all smooth sailing, right? So let's talk about the challenges. What challenges have you faced in promoting this big tree hunt, even specifically in suburban areas like Greater West Bloomfield?
Yes, there's so many people there, and our thing is getting the word out. So we try to get it out with paper entry forms and try to get into the libraries. Some way we've kind of worked with that challenge is we went to the statewide library conference to get in direct communication with the librarians. And there we even had a sign-up sheet for presentations, and about 15 different libraries signed up and asked us to come back to their communities.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I feel like once people get the word out, they know about it, then it's like, oh, okay, I didn't even know that was going on. Then they gain interest, and then word of mouth spreads like anything else. So I completely get that as well.
It's an easy contest to enter. We only go by circumference, so it's right the distance around the trunk of the tree where you go up to it and hug it. So it's really easy for anybody to join.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question. How does the contest work? Tell people how they can enter and that type of thing. So you just gave a little bit more. Can you please give the full context?
Absolutely. So on our website, bigtreehunt.com, BIGTREEHUNT.com, there is all the information you're going to need and an online entry form with diagrams. But what we're looking for is people to go out, pick the biggest tree they know, or even go out to the woods and hunt for the biggest tree they know, and take the circumference measurement. That's the distance all the way around the trunk of the tree. You measure that, take a couple pictures of the tree, and then send that back to us via bigtreehunt.com. We pick winners in different categories. So there's a winner per county. We identify the biggest tree in Oakland County. Right now, you guys are at 11 nominations. That's towards the top, but we could take some more.
Okay.
And it's up from the last time you and I talked on the show. And so we award trees the biggest in each county. We do the biggest white pine in the state. We also do the biggest tree entered in different age groups. So there's multiple ways to win. There's lots of ways to get your special tree. admired and recognized.
Nice. Find your special tree and send it in. It could be the most special tree in the state of Michigan. With that being said, Lindsay, thank you so much. Any upcoming events, programs planned for our local communities to further engage the community in tree conservation and education by any chance?
There are tree plantings in the surrounding counties coming up and some presentations, but right now we're still looking to do plantings. There's tree planting application at our website, and there's presentation applications at our website. So we want to come talk to everybody about trees, whether we're getting our hands on the trees or we're coming and talking in a presentation format.
That's right. That's right. Thank you again for your information, your time, and for promoting something like this right here in our Greater West Bloomfield community. Once again, from Relief, Michigan, Project Forester, Lindsay Lights. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
If you want to participate or find out more, go to their website, reliefmichigan.org, for more information on that contest. And you can keep up with Civic Center TV on all digital platforms. We're on Facebook, Civic Center TV 15, YouTube, Instagram, and X at Civic Center TV, and of course, our website, civiccentertv.com. I'm Kevin McIntosh. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.